Shalom, good morning. Shmuel, the running tour guide. Today going to be a biking guide for you so that we can cover more ground. Friends, I've just met Dr. Book on the way. We're in the modern city of Modiin. We're going to shed some light on the story of Hanukkah. We're heading to some fascinating places. Any ideas where we're going today?
Well, we're in Modiin, so I think we should go to Modiin.
Makes sense.
Right.
Let's do it.
Yalla.
Yalla. Alrighty, we're en route. We're crossing the railway line. Look behind us, a beautiful park called Maccabee. Stay tuned for the view. Ain't this stunning? Love my home. This is a central park. Just a 5-minute bike ride, and here we are. We're on the southern outskirts of Modiin, rooted in the times of the Maccabees. That's what we're dealing with today, the times of the Hashmonaim.
The small site where we're standing right now over here is dated from part of Ishards to more or less the time of the Hasmonean dynasty. That is the 1st century before the Common Era.
And if we think of Matityahu and we think of his sons Yochanan, Yonatan, Yehuda, Elazar, Shimon, very probable they would have come to a site like this, be it a house of gathering, be it a place where the communities met, be it a place that people would pray.
Not just about the stones, it's about the people. It says very clearly in the Torah, in the Bible, Tivnuli Migdash v'shachanti b'tocham. Build me a temple, a holy place, and I will dwell in them. It's a people that make it holy. And these stones over here look like a pile of stones. But this Shabbat Hanukkah, they're going to come alive. When modern day Jews, the descendants of those very Maccabees that lived here 2 millennia ago, are going to come and do the Friday night Shabbat Hanukkah service in this very spot where Jews prayed and laughed and sang and studied 2 millennia ago.
That's it. Tomorrow, see you here.
It doesn't get much more symbolic than this. What you can see over here is a menorah, but not just any old menorah, a very special menorah sitting on the stones of this synagogue from the time of the Hanukkah story itself, of the Maccabees. This menorah, as you can see, is made out of cartridge cases, which I collected during my IDF service. And it so happened we were in the middle of the desert. It was Hanukkah. No one had a menorah because we were doing maneuvers. And basically, someone had brought the candles, but there was no menorah. So I went around after a live fire exercise, collected the cartridge shells, and made a menorah out of it. And what the symbolism there, the big prayer we say on Hanukkah is called Al HaNisim, about the miracles. And one of the lines is Bayamim Ahem Bazman Hazeh, in those days and in these days. In those days, Jews rose up to defend Judaism and the Jewish homeland. And in these days, we have the IDF, the modern Maccabees, who defend our homeland and our values and keep Zionism and Judaism alive for Jews in the Jewish homeland. So this menorah, even though it's an ancient symbol, is made up of the symbols of the modern Maccabees. And right next to it, in front of it, they have an oil lamp from the time of the Hanukkah story as well. It's in lamps like this. This is a Hellenistic oil lamp from 2,100 years ago with the original soot over here. And 2,000 years ago, this is the way lamps would have looked. They would have been lit by olive oil in the temple and in everyone's houses. Finally, one of the big symbols of Hanukkah is Hanukkah Geld, which means money in Yiddish. What I have over here is the actual Hanukkah Geld. These 2 small coins over here were minted by none other than Alexander Yaneos. Now his Hebrew name was Yochanan, and on one side of this coin here, this is a 2,100-year-old coin minted between the years 103 and 76 BCE. And you can see over here there's an anchor, a picture of an anchor, because they also had a trading kingdom. And some letters here, it looks like Greek to you and Greek to me, because it is Greek. And what it says over here is Basilius Alexander, King Alexander. And on the other side, there's a picture of a star, a wheel of a star. And it has on it in Hebrew, in ancient Hebrew script, Melech Yonatan, King Jonathan. That was his Hebrew name. And you can see the ancient Hebrew mem over there. Now this coin caused a huge amount of controversy because he called himself king. And according to the religious Jews, only God's prophet could anoint a king. And until Alexander the Great, no one had called themselves king. It caused so much trouble, they had to mint another coin. And the second coin he minted has on it 2 cornucopia, horns of plenty, over here. On the other side, in ancient Hebrew, there's an inscription that says Yochanan, is the Hebrew name, Chaver Motzet Yodim, a friend of the Jewish council. And the second coin does not mention anything to do with being a king. So it's pretty amazing how coins have a historical value, and also you can feel an energy to know that the great-grandson of Mattityahu, of Mattathias, from Modiin, where we're sitting right now, minted these coins. So this is the real Hanukkah geld. This guy's great-grandfather actually revolted against the Seleucid Greece.
That is so cool. Thank you so much for the Hanukkah geld.
To coin a phrase.
Anyway, folks, I'm going to be posting a link where you can actually purchase these Second Temple coins and also read about some symbolic modern coins that are being minted with historical events that are taking place in our times. Even me, working, living, feeling Israel, to touch a coin like this is something you don't do every day, and especially in a historical site where these coins were traded. Wow. Nes Gadol Haya Po. Literally, yeah. See you tomorrow night at the shul. Okay, right next to the Beit Knesset, the House of Gathering, we have a ritual bath from the period of the Second Temple. Beautifully hewn stones here underneath the shul, underneath the Beit Knesset. You can see hydraulic plaster and even some water from the last rains out in the bottom. Not sure if you can see. Beautiful, fresh, and it's time to head to the bathhouse. Let's go. Crossed over the Ayalon Valley and we've entered the Ayalon Forest, and here we have a fantastic example of an oil press, the Rolling Stone.
The original Rolling Stones in their first performance in Israel 2,000 years ago. And this thing over here is a black olive. All around me are olive trees, probably descendants of those very same olive trees that were here 2,000 years ago. It was a major source of income. Olives were very useful for many things. For oil lamps, for soap, for cooking, for kindling. There was no end to the use of olives, and guess what? The greatest superpower of the day, Egypt, did not have indigenous olive trees. So Judea used to import a lot of its olive oil to Egypt and all throughout the Roman Empire, in fact. So there was a massive industry of olive pressing, which led to the wealth of Judea. And it was very simple, the process. They would get little olives, they would put them underneath these stones over here, and then they would be tied to an animal that would just literally walk around, and the stone would crush. And this is just the first stage. Once the olives were crushed, they would then take the crushed olives and put them in baskets and go for second pressing as well.
So it wouldn't leave you feeling depressed?
Olive, you're glad you said that.
Okay folks, we're going a little bit off the beaten track here into the forest. We have a super spot that I bet you very few know about. There it is in the distance, and we're going to connect it to the story of Hanukkah, a Roman bathhouse, the extension of the culture of Hellenism you can find right here. Just look at that, a hidden gem right outside the city of Modiin, taking us back to the Roman times. Nice. Mosaic floor.
Bit of an arch. Pools.
Aren't you glad we found this? You've got a beautiful octagonal shaped pool. Check out the water system here. Little viaduct. Bringing water right around the building. master architecture.
View from the roof.
Here we are, folks, in one of the most well-preserved Roman bathhouses in the Promised Land, in the Holy Land. Hold on a second. We're dealing with Hanukkah. What's this got to do with the Maccabees? These were the Romans.
Okay, so what Hanukkah really was a culture camp, was a culture war between the Judaic values and Hellenistic values. And Rome was the up and rising power at the time of the Maccabees. In fact, Judah the Maccabee made a treaty with Rome against the Seleucids. So the Romans were definitely around at the time. And the Romans also adopted Hellenistic practices, that is, worship of the external beauty, appearances count, don't look at the beauty within, only the beauty without. And the epitome of this was the Roman bathhouse. The Roman bathhouse is where people went, just like in Hellenistic times, all the athletic competitions were in your birthday suit, because it was the worship of the external human body. So in order to look good and to preen yourself, you went down to the local bathhouse. That was a Hellenistic hangout. And each Roman bathhouse was built in the same way. And here it's very clear to see there was 3 main rooms. The room we're standing in right now was actually called a tepidarium, the Latin word tepid, warm. And underneath the floor, you can see these original Roman bricks where heated hot air would flow under the floor just to warm this room up. Not to make it super hot, but just to keep it warm. Once you were pleasantly warm, you would proceed into the next room to get yourself in the Roman bath mood. And here there's no underground heating. This was just cold water coming from the local springs. This was the plunge pool where you were dunking. This was just freezing cold water. Now once you've had that experience of freezing cold water, you would then go to the biggest chamber of the whole bathhouse, what was known as the caldarium. So you went from the tepidarium to the frigarium to the caldarium. So over here behind you can see part of the Roman brickwork over here. Here there's a Roman arch, and this arch of brickwork would support the floor level, which was up to the threshold behind you over there, Shmuel. You'd have slaves from outside the building lighting up fire, and that would heat the floor, and then there would be pipes also going up as well, the wall itself. It would be a superheated room where you would basically what we call today the schwitz, or the hot room. And there you would lie on the side of this hot water, and your slaves would come and they would scrape your sweat off, and you would massage you with oil, and basically it was a very hedonistic, Hellenistic experience.
Okay, folks, hope you enjoyed that run around Modiin and seeing some of the sights, experiencing the period of the Hashmonaim. We're going to leave you here from the home of Hellenism. We're heading home, ready to celebrate a wonderful festival of light. Light is what we need. Boy, oh boy, if there ever was a period of history that we've got to spread the light, we're happy to do it. You can see Modiin just is that place that gives a sense of light, a sense of hope. You saw the beautiful modern Modiin. So with that, Dr. Tovia Book, Shmuel Chantal, we're wishing you a Chag Hanukkah Sameach.
Chag Urim Sameach.
Amen. Shabbat Shalom. Dropping down into the Ayalon Valley. Wow, she's going fast. How beautiful is this? Okay, we're heading back to the City Bowl. We're now in the Ayalon Valley, and check out the train bridge. This is the high-speed train between Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. A mere 28 minutes. How beautiful. What's it like? back in Modiin, a city that is rebuilt, never more to be uprooted again. Chag Sameach. Hope you enjoyed that 25-kilometer run around in the ways of the Maccabees. Shabbat Shalom. Peace. Nice.
Yeah, Sam, you worked as a park ranger for 2 years in Kruger, right?
Correct.
So you know all the Latin names for everything?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so what's the Latin name for that?
Fungus, Bigus, Mushroomus.
Doesn't look that miserable. Looks like quite a fun guy to me.
Pretty much. Listen, you better come to Israel soon. Space is running out. There's not much room anymore.